So in this lesson, we're going to talk about angles and parallel lines. So a lot of the same relationships that we saw in our lesson 3.1 are going to follow through here in lesson 3.2. So if you want to go ahead and do that warm up, and then I'll put the answers up for you to check. All right, so these are just some suggested answers. There are more answers that would be correct, but here are some for the warm up. All right, so Harry Potter scar. We're going to mark an angle with a dot. Then we're going to find its vertical and mark it with a dot. And then we're going to copy that same dot pattern on the other parallel connected dots. So right here and right here. And then we're going to connect the dots. So it looks like Harry Potter's scar. So you can do it the other way if you marked this dot and then it's vertical and then copied it down here. There's the scar. So if they both have a dot or are both blank, they are the same. Okay, so they're congruent or equal. If one has a dot and the other dot is different, then they're supplementary. So if one has a dot and the other one doesn't, those are supplementary to each other. They add up to 180. So when lines are parallel, magic happens. So Harry Potter, when the lines are parallel, those relationships that we kind of identified in the previous lesson, those relationships or those angles have these relationships now. So if two lines are parallel, and they're cut by a transversal, then the corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and identify 1 and 2. This reason is given for the first, and then corresponding angles is why those are congruent, because we have parallel lines. Alternate interior, those are congruent. So again, given. 3 and 4 are congruent because they're alternate interior. Alternate exterior are congruent. And that would be 5 and 6. So given, and then alternate exterior angles. And I should be adding the theorem because it is the theorem. And then the last one is same side interior. Now those are supplementary. Those are supplementary, okay, because they're not going to form a part of the scar like the zigzag. So 7 and 8 are supplementary by the same side interior angles same side interior angles theorem. And if something, we'll get given up here. If something is supplementary, we know it adds up to 180. So we could say the measure of each of those angles adds to 180 by the definition of supplementary. So let's go ahead and practice kind of looking here at the fact that angle 11, we know that it is 51 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in there. And then we're going to figure out what all the other ones are. So remember our zigzag. So anything vertical is going to be the same. And anything kind of alternate interior is going to be the same there. So all these that I just kind of drew that path are 51. Okay. All the rest are going to be supplementary. So 12 we know has to be 51 because it's vertical to it. Alternate interior, 12 and 15, 51. And then again, vertical with 15 and 16, so 51. And then all the rest of these are going to be supplementary because they're kind of forming that linear pair with 51, and then they follow their own path to be congruent. So 180 minus 51 is going to be 129. So 129 for all the rest of those. So for example 2 here, if the measure of angle 2 is 113, what is 6? Well, 6 and 2 are corresponding, so it should be that 6 is the same. If 4 is 100, it's a different color. What is 6? Well, these are alternate interiors, so they should be the same, so it should be 100. And then the next one is 1 is 84. What is 3? Well, 3 is vertical to it, so it should be the same, 84. And feel free to pause and try some. If 7 is 75, what is 1? Alternate exterior would be congruent, so 75. So pretty much a congruent relationship unless it's linear pair or same side interior. All right, the next one is number 3 is 81. Then what is 4? So there's that linear pair relationship next to each other. So we need to do the 180 minus 81. So 99. And then 6 would be 111, and the measure of angle 3 is same side interior, so these are supplementary again, so 180 minus 111, so that will give me 69 there. All right, so if you want to try this one, go ahead and plug your measures that they're giving you in here. I think I got 12s in there, I just didn't get 2s, 92. And then we're going to go ahead and figure out what the other angles that are missing are. So if this is 74 and it wants to find 10, we can see those are corresponding, so congruent, so 74. The measure of angle 5, well, 5 is going to be supplementary. These are going to add to 180. So I need to take 180 minus 74, and that would give me 106 for angle 5. And then 8. 8 right here is vertical to the 92-degree angle, so same as that 92-degree angle. 11 is supplementary to my 74, so I'm going to take 180 minus the 74. That's going to give me 106. So we kind of have that relationship going around there. Angle 9. Angle 9, well, we already know what 10 is. We said 10 was 74. So these form a linear pair, so 180 minus 74, 106. And then 13 is next to my 74, so these are a linear pair adding up to 180, so 106 for 13. So once you find some relationships, you can kind of find some others. All right, so now we're going to take a look at kind of these relationships given here. That would be corresponding, and we know corresponding are congruent, so we set these equal, and then we solve. So x equals 23, and it just says find the value of the variable or variables if there's more than one. All right, this relationship here, these are same side, right? And we know same side interior are supplementary. So these add up to 180. So we need to add them together and then set them equal to 180. So 4a plus 28 equals 180. And then subtract the 28. So 4a is equal to 152. And then divide by 4. So a is equal to 38. All right, so over here we have alternate exterior, and those are congruent. So 104 equaling x minus 10, add 10, x equals 114. Right here we have kind of two different variable relationships. So let's look at this one right here. These are a linear pair, so 180. So that would mean I need to take 180 minus the 55 in order to get my x value. So x equals 125. And then I know this being 125, then these are alternate interior, so y has to equal 125 as well. All right, so over here, again, we kind of have that linear pair relationship, but we have an x and a y, so we can't add those equal to 180. So we need to figure out what angle is going to be congruent to this one or supplementary to this one. And I could see that these are corresponding here. So my 3x minus 15 has to equal my 105. So that's how we're going to set that one up. So add 15. 3x is equal to 90 and divide by 3 to get x equals 30. And then we can go ahead and see that these being 105, this one has to be 105, which would mean, or you could find this one here and then do the supplementary relationship for that linear pair. But y plus 25 plus the 105 has to equal 180. And so y plus 130 equals 180. Subtract the 130. So y is equal to 50.